we're stuck in roadworks on a 40-degree day in Australia. Luckily we pulled up in the shade and we're just test driving Spot's fabulous new hat. What do you think, mate? Do you like it?
Spotty.
Nah, I'm not sure he's sure, Mum.
He looks like a bonnet.
G'day guys, Chris here from Vo-Gus Prospecting. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and if you're an old hat, welcome back. Today I'm out on a creek that has some really good gold. To answer a question, can you make a living from this in the northeast of Victoria, in an alluvial area, not somewhere where there's nuggets or that there's currently a big gold rush on? I get asked this question a lot, so I would like to know the answer, and we're going to test that theory. Often I'll go out on a video and I'll have a purpose, so I might go to a place with nice coarse chunky gold just to do some crevicing to show you guys how to utilize some tools, or somewhere there's a really fine gold to show you how to set up a sluice properly to catch the finest of the fines. But today I've ignored all that. I've come to spots where I know there is decent gold. In the hole behind me, there is, I pulled almost a gram out in 2 hours. So we're going to just continue that hole before it gets stinking hot, meant to be 43 today. So before it gets hot, we're going to work it and we're going to see how much gold we can make. And then we're just going to extrapolate on that. So if I did this 5 days a week and put in X amount of hours, blah, 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 and we'll see how much money we could potentially make and see if we're going to make a very meager living or if we can make an alright one. Alright. In this hole, I was just getting down to some nice clay and getting closer to the bedrock. You can actually see a little bedrock section just sticking out from behind this bush, so it's not too far down here. I hit these big boulders last time, but I kind of gave up because it was really hot, so there's got a big boulder here that got in my way, and then there's all these as well. So what I'm going to do is throw all these up and out. I'm probably even going to shift these back further and dig out in here underneath the bank. Well, not under the bank, but just here on that little bit of a gravel bar, and maybe even expand it out into the middle of the stream where I have my sluice set up. And with a bit of luck, I'll be able to get back on that pay streak. While I work away tirelessly, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit more about the mental health aspect that I want to promote this year. There's a really important question that you can ask your friends or family who might be going through a really hard time. I've seen a couple of campaigns that go on about asking people if they're okay, asking, are you okay? And it's a brilliant initiative, but I feel like we could improve on it somewhat. Asking someone if they are okay, are you okay? Is a sort of a closed off question. If I say to you, are you okay? You can go, yeah man, I'm all good. And it doesn't open up the door for conversation. When you're dealing with a mental illness, it is incredibly difficult to open up to someone and explain to them exactly what's going on for you, because you will feel really stupid inside. You might just need someone to stand there with you to buy movie tickets because you're anxious. You don't need them for any other reason than to just stand there, but asking someone to do that is incredibly awkward. So when you get asked, are you okay, you'll just say yes to deflect it. If we ask someone, how are you going, it prompts more of a conversation. How are you going? Yeah, I'm alright, I've just been down a little bit. You can open the door for someone to open up to you. So instead of asking if they're okay, ask them how they are, and really, really give them a good listen and let them know that, you're up for it. Doesn't matter that they might be struggling, what they are feeling might be considered to be stupid. It's not, and they can trust you. Alright, I've done a lot of rock clearing. You can see big piles of rock all out of the way. Unfortunately, this size rock goes all the way down to bedrock and it makes it really hard to dig in, but it's also a good sign that that's where gold's going to be dropping out if you're running into boulders like that under the water. I'm going to set my sluice up just here. We've got nice high water pressure, so I should be able to process dirt quite efficiently. I'm going to start basically probably up there somewhere and dig down and expand this hole. Once it gets hot, I'll fill my gumboots up with water and jump in and really get to digging down in that deep stuff. But before that, I've got something really exciting and cool to show you. A shovel! Not just any shovel, my new shovel. Did you know they make shovels with a 25-year warranty? Because I didn't. A 25-year warranty. I'm never going to have to buy a shovel again. Sluice is set. It's only 7:15 in the morning. Got here at 7. Let's get sluicing. It's not always easy to get good labour. Grizzly, you slacking off on the job. Well, what am I paying you for? It's to chase rocks, yeah? Well, get back to work. Sun, as you can see in your lens, has just come up, so it's going to get hot soon. I'm a big believer in not putting all your eggs in one basket. If you are working for profit, if you are looking to make money, you don't want to lose money. If you lose gold, you're losing money. If anything goes wrong, for instance, your sluice is blocked, it floats downstream on you by accident, the dog knocks it over, something like that, then you've lost half a day's profit if you haven't cleaned it out. So I do regular clean outs just to make sure that I've got a guaranteed amount of gold at the end of the day. We're going to do one of them now. Alright, this will give us a good opportunity just to see how much gold we've got currently for about 35 shovels worth. If it's not good, we can prospect somewhere else. And we'll know if we've got any gold in the box. See how much we're starting the day with. If I can get my swing motion into gear. Oh, I got a specimen! He's only little. Look! Oh, get it on your finger, Chris. There we go. A quartz and gold specimen. How good is that? Alright, so we've got a specimen. Very nice. I knew they were in this creek. I just haven't seen many of them recently. Yeah. Not overly much. Interesting. See, I might have already worked the pay streak out on this. There's a big boulder in there, though, that I want to move. So, while there's a little bit of gold, there's not enough gold for me to really want to keep digging that. I don't know. We'll see how we go. I'll try and get that big boulder out of the way. We'll run a few more shovels from a slightly different spot in that hole because there's still potential there. There is. I've been working one edge real hard, so I'm going to go to the other edge and see if it gets better. But that's why you do test pans as well. Lets you know how you're going. So much of gold mining is about efficiency. Even if you're just a hobbyist who doesn't ever really want to sell your gold, you're going to have to be efficient to extract enough of it to make it look really impressive to your mates. So when it comes to profit, you want to really make sure that you're being as efficient as possible. That's why I'm using a river sluice today, because I can get away with it in this particular spot. I can use a river sluice. It doesn't cost me anything to run. It's easier on my body, blah, blah, blah. Lots of reasons for using it. It's efficient. The spot that I'm currently working has turned out to be not so efficient. The gold that I got from my last cleanup wasn't what I expected, wasn't what I was getting the previous time I was in this hole, which probably means that I was either just off the pay streak or it's all gone. I've worked the majority of that pay streak lead. If that's the case, I have to move spots. I've just run another 20 shovels. Now, in these 20 shovels, if I can get about as much gold as what I got in there, which is less shovels for the same amount of gold, coming off this inside bend or on the bank side of the creek here, then it will be worth continuing. If I haven't got as much gold, if I've got less gold than what's in there, it's not worth it. I'll move downstream and have a look for somewhere else. Well, bad news. This is all we got for 20 shovels. And that's what I want to see per pan, not 20 shovels. So we're going to go look for another spot. I've still got time before the sun gets up and it gets truly hot. So without further ado, let's go looking. All packed up and moving on. This is just the reality of it. We're talking about, can you do this for a living in an alluvial area that's as rich as mine? There are spots up here. That I could go right now, today, and pull out really nice coarse gold, really nice big chunks, and I could pretty much do that all day, every day. However, that spot is an hour and a half from me. So it's a 3-hour round trip that's going to burn petrol and all that sort of jazz. And you're not always going to be able to get to those places. You're going to have to look at places that are local to you or closer to you. Otherwise, you're going to have to spend extended periods of time camping. So again, we come back to the reality check that you're not always going to have good days. You're going to have to prospect for spots. You can't just go into any creek, start digging, and just expect to make enough money to live. We have to find the right areas and the right spots. I got a spot just down here that I worked last year with a friend of mine, and we pulled out 3 grams from the hole, and there was a spot just next to it that we didn't check that I feel might be good. So that's where we're going next. And talk about efficiency, that's all of my equipment plus the pans on my back. How easy is that? We had a really dry winter, but then huge springtime storms came through and we got several major floods. And I just wanted to show everyone just how violent these floods were. Last year I worked this spot. This is the hole just here. You can see where it's still got a basic ring of it. We couldn't move this rock. This rock goes down about as long as my legs to the very bottom of the bedrock. We couldn't move that, so it's just sat there and it's filled up with other overburden from the creek as it's washed dirt down in the storms. Now this rock was the bank. Originally, the creek came down in between this rock and my hole, and it S-bended and went that way. Well, it's just destroyed all this. Check out all the tree roots. It literally took from here over, out, completely out. The temperature is really starting to come up now. I haven't been out here for very long, about an hour and a half, and it is already in the 30s, and it's only about 8:30 in the morning. So I am getting really hot. I am going to run out of time to film everything else and process some dirt. So what I'm going to do is turn the camera off, dig like hell, do a clean out, and take everything home. What I want to do is show you some of the data that I've collected over the last month to extrapolate on the idea of can you make profit. So bear with me, and I'll see you at home. Alright, we made it back. I didn't do too much more. I moved a couple of big rocks. I hit a clay layer. I just sort of started scraping the top of the good dirt behind that rock before I decided to call it quits, because the temperature was rising and it started to get very sunny where I was. I didn't end up with overly much. When I look at the gold, I've got around a 0.1-ish there, and we were out for 2.5 hours. Now, if we take out the time that I was filming and the time for just a couple of flopping around things to do with the YouTube stuff, we've lost probably half an hour. So I was out for 2 hours, and I managed to pull about a 0.1. I'll show you the gold in a minute, but I pulled about a 0.1, which means that it's only a 0.05 per half hour where I was. We have to look at a full day though. If you're doing this professionally, you would have to go all day. You'd have to put in probably an 8-hour day. So if we're looking at 0.05 per hour, we're talking about between a 0.3 and a 0.4 for the day, if you worked a solid 8-hour day. And that's not too bad. That's around $25 worth of gold, a little bit less than half a gram, my bad. About $20 worth of gold, give or take, Australian. So what we've got to work out though is in the long term. If we look at just today, we can't really work out what would be possible for the whole thing, and it's simply because some days are going to be better than others. So this is the gold we got today. Show you that. Not too shabby. I'll put you right up nice and close. But we've also got a couple of little specimens. We've got this little one here. And this is a little bit of ironstone that's got gold running through it, which is really cool. And we also got the original one that I showed you on film from my first clean out. I'll put him on my hand, he's only a little again. And we've got quartz with gold on it. So 2 little specimens, they're pretty cool finds. Now, extrapolating. I've been keeping track. I'm keeping track this year of how much gold I'm pulling out each day. These are my numbers that we've got just there. I did the maths. This is the gold. That's what all those numbers, that's what it looks like just there. I've done the maths. I'm pulling roughly a 0.46 average per day, so just a little under half a gram. The average gold price currently in Australia is about $1,700 an ounce, fluctuating up and down a little bit, about $30 either side. So $1,700 an ounce. It puts it roughly at $50 a gram. It never really seems to deviate from that too much recently, in recent years. So we can know that we're pulling out roughly $23 worth of gold a day. So $23 worth of gold a day over 5 days, what, that's just a little over 120 bucks, give or take, a week. So that's not very much, and it's probably not possible to live off that amount. However, it's going to be highly dependent on where you work. If I worked in some of the places where I was pulling nice chunky coarse gold and you get over a gram a day, it'd be a different story. And I do know people that do this for a living out in Reedy Creek, which has got ultra fine gold. It's a meager living, but you can do it. If it was me, there are other ways of doing it. You could run it as pay-dirt and easily double your money because you can charge for your time. You could take gold prospecting tours and charge hundreds of dollars, regardless of the gold that you get. So there are other ways of doing it. Is it possible to make a living? Yes, but it will be very, very meager. And you would have to be living in exactly the right location. Well, thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it's been a little bit more informative for you. Remember to get involved with the competition that we're running to name Josh's high banker. Put your votes in. The link is in the description below, and enter the competition for our pay dirt giveaway, which will be drawn on the 7th of February. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and as always, check out this gold.